Okay, before we begin, I'd like to say that I am sorry because I have not managed to be consistent with you guys. I have no excuse. I've been very busy and I haven't had the time to work on many videos. However, I have been working on other projects that have to do more with my writing that I am very excited about. So yeah, I haven't left those, I have left you instead because, to be honest, those projects are more important to me at the moment. Anyway, let's go right ahead and begin this review once and for all. Hello everybody, how are you? I'm Arch and welcome to this new episode where we'll be talking about the third entry in the Inheritance Cycle by Christopher Paolini, Brisingr. And I'm very excited about this book because I really like it. It's my least favorite in the series, but that doesn't mean that I quite dislike it. No, it's actually a very cool book. However, we cannot start without me mentioning these two right here. Winged Horsewire and High Elves of Old are available in Amazon both in digital and physical format if you want to get them. The links will be down below. And of course, there's also Candles book 2.5 in the series, which will come out on December the 1st of this year. I'm very excited for that book. I really wanted to have it. It's not obligatory. However, if you read it, you will understand a lot more about the world building and things that will come in future novels. Anyway, without any further ado, let's go with the P.A.O, the Possible Smell Addiction. The acronym is in Spanish and it's gonna be not bad, but it's kind of average, you know, so I'm gonna give it a 6. It's a decent book. Anyway, let's go and talk about the plot of this book. Brisingr picks up straight after the ending of Eldest, and it begins with Roran and Eragon, who have gone to Helgrind, this huge black mountain, to save Roran's lover, Katrina. And there, as they wait, Roran and Eragon know that they are going to face the Zar'roc, these strange bird-like creatures who have haunted them from the very beginning. In fact, it is the Zar'roc which essentially prompt Eragon to leave the village in the first place. So they are finally going to face the Zar'roc and the Leather Black, these huge and dangerous creatures that they know almost nothing about. And it's a very, very interesting beginning. However, the world is also changing. In the Dwarven lands, in the P.A.O Mountains, for example, it is the P.A.O Mountains, right? Yeah, it is the P.A.O Mountains. After the death of King Hrothgar, the dwarves are coming up with an election system. No, they're not coming up with an election system, but their elections are coming up. They need to choose a new leader, and whoever this leader is will determine the future of the dwarves in the war. So the Varden, with Naswada at its head, needs to find a way to keep the dwarves in the war, helping them, supporting them, and essentially helping them rebel against Galbatorix, right? So Naswada needs to find a way to keep the P.A.O Mountains and the different dwarven kingdoms helping them, and she will need Eragon for this. However, Eragon does not only have those problems, he also has some here, and to deal with these, he will have to go to Duweld and Varden, to the kingdom of the elves, to talk with Oramis, because honestly, he is very shocked after the massive reveal that came to us at the end of the previous book, given by Murtagh. And yeah, it's a very shocking discovery that Eragon makes. And essentially, that's about it for the plot. Eragon and Roran are about to save Katrina from Helgrind and the Zar'roc. Meanwhile, in the P.A.O Mountains, there's these elections coming up, and Naswada needs to find a way to keep them, to keep the P.A.O Mountains and the new leader, have them protect the Varden, help the Varden, and Eragon needs to go to Duweld and Varden, not only to continue his work, not only to continue training, but also to get himself a sword, because he needs a sword after Zar'roc left in the hands of Murtagh. Anyway, that's all for the plot, so let's go right ahead and talk about my review for this book. As always, let us begin with the plot. And I think that Brisingr has the most complex plot in every way. Because in Eragon and Eldest, Eragon had a very defined journey. So in book 1 he just went south, then to Gilead, and then to the Bear Mountains, and in book 2 he went he was only going north to the elves, and Roran was only going south to Surda. Right now, there are many things that need to happen. Aragorn has to make a huge journey across the whole world, spanning the whole known world of Elgasia, and this makes it a little more complex to follow. There's also the Varden, which is slowly moving up, preparing to begin their attack against the Empire, and of course, you also have Roran, who is trying to save Katrina, right? So there are many things that are taking place here, many things that are happening, and this makes the plot of the book rather complicated to follow at times. It never gets complicated in the way of King's level complicated, but it's still harder to read than the previous ones, and a little harder than the last one, which is also fairly straightforward in terms of plot. However, this doesn't mean that I don't like it as much. In fact, I really like the structure that Christopher Paolini uses when crafting this book. It really shows how he has, if not a talent, a very good skill with creating plot lines and following on them. In this book, some things from book 1 even come back and have a very strong presence here. So there's, for example, the prophecy that Solimbum did, right? He had a prophecy about Aragorn going to the Manoa tree, and this happens in this book. We also have the Vault of Souls, which will take place up in book 4, but the fact that this prophecy came back here shows how Christopher is giving the story continuity, and I really like that. It's a very interesting storyline. I really like how he executes it and how it continues to move forward over time. And this links a lot with the characters, because I really think that many characters, especially Aragorn, Roran, Elva, and Saphira, go through huge character development in this book. Roran, he is now in the Varden, officially in the Varden. He is a warrior. He has gone from being only a farmer to being one of the people in whom people have hopes on. So people now, they expect something from him. He is a leader from the Varden, and he has to fight against the Empire to take the people, the rebels, the Varden, to freedom, right? So he is now in this situation where he can't even remember the number of people that he has killed thanks to the Battle of the Burning Plains, and that has him very conflicted inside. Like, there's also the fact that his lover, future wife, is kidnapped at the beginning of the book, and he needs to go to save her, and to save her he goes into one of the most dangerous places in the world, which is Helgrind. So yeah, Helgrind, however you want to call it, but it's a very shocking experience for him after so long, after everything that has happened since Eldest, and he has to go through a very big and powerful growth in this book. Aragorn also needs to change a lot. He has to go from helping Roran save Katrina to working in the dwarven politics, almost getting assassinated, and then going to the elves to learn even more and face this revelation that took place in the last book. He also suffers a very big growth as a character. He has to go and make himself a sword, to make himself a dragon rider, and it's very interesting how everything takes place in this book, how everything moves, how all the characters impact Aragorn, and how all the previous events are piling up, and we are starting to see the effects that they had on him, right? So it's a very interesting character development that he suffers. However, my favorite definitely has to be with Elva, and Elva is probably one of the most unique characters in the history of fantasy, and the fact that she came to be by accident is amazing, and I really appreciate that, how Christopher worked in his language so much that he made a mistake and he noticed that mistake. Like, that's a Tolkien level work in depth on the language, so it's amazing. I really like how Christopher built that language, and it also makes it a lot more realistic, because why would Aragorn know perfectly well how to speak the magical language? It's another language. You make mistakes as you're learning it, right? So that gives it a layer of realism that I'm really fond of. And Elva is a magnificent character, and her development here and overall the series is great. She is just a presence on her own. She's like Dalinar from The Way of Kings, or Quoth from the Kingslayer Chronicles. Whenever Elva arrives, she just draws eyes and is so impactful and so powerful. She's a very cool character, and I really, really like her for that. Also, the narrative for this book is always very easy to follow. The book guides you almost. Christopher has a very, very neat narrative, a very neat writing style, and I really like that as well. And as for the world building, we are starting to get more and more information about how this world works, what is going on with the Vault of Souls, with the Minoa tree. We're starting to see how things work with the werecats and things like that. It's a very interesting dive, the one that we take in this book, learning more about the Resak, the Leather Blacka, and these other creatures that are very interesting, as well as the past about the Dragon Riders, which is beginning to come up more and more. Overall, this book is very cool. I greatly enjoy it. It's my least favorite in the series, but I still like it a lot. I still enjoy it. And that's why I'm going to give this book, Brisingr by Christopher Paolini, a 75 out of 100. It's a good book. I enjoyed it. It's one of my favorite series of all time. And yeah, a very good book. I highly recommend it. So anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment, and of course, check the book out if you're interested in it. The link will be down below as well. Thank you so much for all your help, and I will see you later. Bye.